friends, Steven here with No Alarms, Firearms Education and Training. Here to bring y'all that video I talked about using your Tac Lights, some tips and tricks to help you use it more effectively. Now, first and foremost, I do understand and realize the necessity of a Tac Light. However, I must let you know that if you do not know how to properly use it, that force multiplier can also end up multiplying the chances of you getting injured or dead, okay? I need to make that perfectly clear. Using a Tac Light is not as simple as turning it on. But first, hello and thank you to all of my new subscribers. Thank you so much for subscribing. It fills me with so much motivation every single time I get a notification of a new subscriber. Thank you and welcome. Now first, let's start with placement. I'm not going to go too much into details about which lights you should get or should not get. Personally, to me, a light is a light. I don't get into, I don't follow the trends of what Super Sergeant SEAL Ranger Delta had on their flashlights, and I'm going to use that one. I don't care for such things. So if you have a flashlight, if you have a Tac Light, and that's what it was designed for, great. If it's not the best, don't care. If it's among the worst, because there are certain brands out there that get a bad rep. Take, for example, Olight. Olight gets a bad rep, but Olight is kind of similar to Taurus in that aspect. You can ask a lot of Taurus owners about how they feel about their Taurus, and they'll tell you, no, it's great. It works all the time. Never had any malfunctions. But typically outside of them, the general consensus is that Taurus is not that great. The same goes with Olight. Lots of people swear by them. They use them, they love them, they say they're great. But overall, in the grand picture, it's looked down upon. So again, I'm not really going to go into too much detail about specifics about which type of lights to go with, brands and whatnot. A Tac Light's a Tac Light. And no, you don't need some crazy 5,000 plus aluminums with the rays of the sun shooting out and all this other crap. On my go-to rifle, I have a Surefire, but she's old. She was made, that flashlight was made roughly somewhere between 2005 and 2010, probably closer to the 2005 range. It does not have some crazy amount of lumens to it. It does not have this ridiculously long life for the batteries. It's just a freaking flashlight. And I still have it, and it still works to this day. It's been beat up, it's been tried and true, and it's holding up for me. So I don't bother to exchange it. It works. So that's all I'm going to say about brands. So first things first, let's get into placements. Obviously, with pistols, we're limited to placing it in just one spot. But let's say you use a different type of weapon system for your home defense. I use this for my home defense. This is a 45 caliber Glock inside CCA chassis system that allows me to utilize it in a pistol form, which makes follow-up shots a lot faster. I even got me a red dot on here. This isn't an EOTech, this is a Hollow Sun. I can't remember the nomenclature, but it's one of the more affordable ones. I think I maybe spent like 120 bucks on this thing. I think at the highest I've ever seen it is 155. So it's nothing fancy or anything like that. I've also got this additional mag holder. I carry two of the stick mags, two of the fun mags with it, one inside the weapon, one to go, one as a backup. So this is my setup for home defense. This is what I prefer. So going into placement. With this particular weapon system, as well as many rifles and shotguns, you have 3s, 12s, and 9 o'clock positions, and even some you'll have a 6 o'clock position. I went ahead and utilized the CCA standard flashlight. It's one of their own products that typically sells separately from the chassis system, and it just fits right underneath the barrel here. I find that this works just fine. It's not a crazy amount of looms, just like all my other ones, but you know what? It's bright, it works, it helps me see, and that's what's important. And with this one came with a switch. This could be taken out and rotated if I was wrong-handed so that I can use it over here. But since I'm lefty, I have it to where the button is activated on the right-hand side, allowing me to use my thumb to activate that, okay? So placement. Place the flashlight in a position where you are most commonly going to have your hands, how you most commonly hold the weapon system. A lot of folks like to grab a mag well if they're using like an AR style firearm, or even some things like a CZ Scorpion. A lot of people like to hold on to the mag well and have their hands all the way back here. Some folks like to use the long arm or C-clamp like stance where they do this number. Obviously I don't have the real estate for that, so that option is not available to me. So I just tuck myself in right here, nice and tight. If this option was not available for me, then I'd most likely end up putting it here on my 3 o'clock position, and I'd end up putting it somewhere where I can activate the button right here. I want to have to eliminate having to drastically move or even release my hand to activate this switch. The reasons for that I will go into greater detail here in a minute. But placement is very important. Also, be careful that it's functional where you place it. Do not place it in a spot that you think looks cool. I've seen guys with AKs. They'll rig up some sort of device that holds it right where the gas tube is in the front, and they think that they're good to go until they get to the range. They fire a few rounds and the damn thing comes loose and the flashlight flies off downrange as they're shooting. So placement, very important. Find the place that works for you to be able to use it effectively, but also where it's gonna stay. Once you establish your spot, go to the range. Fire a good 50 rounds minimum through that weapon system to ensure that not only does the light stay in its place, it stays in tight, okay? Also, shoot with it on. See if the vibrations of each shot somehow mess with the light and cause it to flicker, okay? Because you don't want that. When you need it on, it needs to stay on. So double check for that. So that's placement. I went with this option, so that's what I'm going to demonstrate for y'all today. Now here's the big thing about usage of a Tac Light. So many people that run weapon systems with a Tac Light, even on a regular basis, do not operate that Tac Light properly. Now, whether or not they were trained on how to use it properly, I don't know. But when I do research and YouTube videos and all that of police shootings, of combat footage from soldiers and Marines in Iraq and Afghanistan, a lot of times they're not using the Tac Light properly. There's only a handful of times, a handful of videos that I've seen where the user of it is exercising the Tac Light appropriately. So here's one thing that we're going to start off with. Using a Tac Light, you do not turn it on and go. That's not what it's there for. Turning the flashlight on and leaving it on as you're maneuvering is not going to help you. This is going to end up being a crutch, because as you're searching for that bump that went on in the night, this flashlight is shining down hallways and doors and entranceways. And you know what that's doing? It's giving away where you are and where you're coming from. So we don't just run with it on all the time. This is going to be detrimental to you. So Stephen, what do we do? You should know your house inside and out. Every single room. There should be no hidden spots in your house. So that comes first, the knowledge part, understanding your own house. Any type of closet, if you have children, you need to know the general layout of their closets. Jackets on this side, dresses on this side, whatever. You are the master of your own home, so act like it. So as we're maneuvering, we're only flashing that light on those spots that we know are typically darker than the rest, given that maybe you have a kitchen light that stays on all the time. And with that kitchen light, it's shining outward, so it might dim some areas that has been blocked by the light. And that's where you're gonna have to want to go real quick and take a look at it. So that's an example of using it properly. Now, real quick, did anybody notice what else I did? I'll do it again. Did you see it? If not, it's okay. I closed my dominant eye. When I use my Tac light and I'm searching for something, I'm closing my dominant eye. Why am I closing my dominant eye? My dominant eye, being my strong eye, being the eye that operates best in any given lighting condition. When it's really light, it's my left eye that sees better. When it's dark, it's my left eye that sees better. What I'm doing is I'm protecting the fact that that light, that eye is accustomed already to darkness. So if something was to happen at night, my eyes are already acclimated to the dark, so I can see better in the dark. But when I mentioned those black pitch spots areas, that's where the light really comes in handy. But you don't want to hurt yourself by losing that acclimation that your strong eye has already acquired. You don't want to take that away from yourself. So when you activate it, I close my dominant eye. And once it's off, I open it back up. This eye is going to be able to see better with the light on because it just got exposed. But my left eye didn't. So when that light goes off and I open up my left eye again, it's as if nothing ever changed. I'm still able to see exactly the same amount as I was when I first started. So that is a big part of using a Tac light. Not only using it when it's appropriate and not running with it on all the time, but also closing that dominant eye. So now let's move forward into a little bit of maneuvering. My two chairs here are going to represent a T-section hallway, okay? I have a left and right maneuverability here, and I have a hallway right here. In the event that you find somebody who came over unannounced or abruptly announced themselves, to which they were not allowed to, you're going to need to know a little bit of a few tips on how to operate in a very strategic manner, okay? So let's start with, I'm a lefty. I'm going to start here on the right-hand side because this is the side that's most friendly to me. FYI, forgive me, the weapon has already been cleared. Mag well is cleared. I even took out my extra mag. My slide is locked to the rear. I didn't mention that first. I apologize. So again, this is a walkway here. These chairs represent a wall. This represents a hallway. As I'm coming around my corner, taking a peek of what's around, let's say that as I came around, I turned on that light, there they are, bang, bang. And then I come back to what hopefully is cover, if not concealment. Chances are, once the bad guys get caught, they're going to start getting out of there. And if they're armed, they're more than likely, it's pretty rare that they just leave when they're armed to just leave and not fire a shot. There's a strong chance they're going to fire a shot. So they're going to fire a shot where? Where they saw the light. That's where they're going to fire the shot. So if the opportunity arises, I would recommend, there they are, ding, 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 bop, 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 bop. And if it's possible, leaving the light off, and maneuvering to the other side. Why? They are going to shoot in the general area and direction of where they saw the light. And if you pop your head back around that corner, it could be a bad thing. Now let's say you don't have the option. Let's say this is more of an L shape, like hallway. Then if you were standing, try going to a kneeling position. You see them, holy crap, bang, 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 bang. They start laying down fire. Bang, 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 bang. Again, very just quick little tips that you can do at home today to practice to make yourself better and safer and more capable of handling these types of situations. Now, I don't know if this will come off as a surprise to many of you, but it is becoming more common now that criminals are using firearms. In addition, they're running in groups, usually as small as 2, but as big as 6. It's not highly prevalent, but it is becoming more common for criminals to organize in groups to execute their activities. So that is why I'm offering you such, one might consider significant strategic and tactical tips. So that's what it's like. That's just a small bit of what it's like, my friends, to use your Tac Light properly, okay? Now, I want y'all to take everything that I just said, all the instructions I just provided you, now add on the beating heart, the adrenaline. Maybe you're the kind of person that gets a little moist, a little sweaty when things like that happen. Take in consideration actually seeing somebody, not them shooting, seeing somebody in your house that's not supposed to be there, okay? Add all that onto what we just talked about and ask yourself, no, just flat out tell yourself, you need to train with your Tac Light, okay? There's no question about it. You need to train with your Tac Light if you're going to use it. I don't mind that many people have Tac Lights. What I do mind is that they train. Again, you don't just turn it on and go. So many people that I talk to have this impression. No, you just turn it on and you go. I've seen so many videos, especially law enforcement videos, when they're in a shootout and the law enforcement officers are using their Tac Lights, and then they move from one position to another thinking they're going to get a better vantage point. They're running with their Tac Light on. So then it's no mystery to the opposition where the officer just went. And the officer is thinking, I'm going to get a better strategic point over here. They run with their Tac Light on, and they find themselves still receiving the exact same amount of fire and even the accuracy of that fire as they were when they were in their first position. The maneuvering didn't do anything at all. Again, because they were running with their light on. We don't want to do that. Furthermore, what I've provided for y'all today is individual techniques and movements. When you start incorporating buddies, working with buddies and Tac Lights, there's a lot more to it. More of the discipline and knowledge of how to use that Tac Light comes about. Because when you have a buddy the two of you need to be in sync together, okay? No, like, you can't argue about that. There's more rules, there's more techniques to learn when you're working with somebody and using tac lights. So again, my friends, I don't have a problem with anybody having a tac light. I just have a problem when they don't bother to train on how to use it appropriately. It is a force multiplier, but that multiplied force could very well work against you instead of for you. So please do take that in consideration, my friends, okay? That's the short video that I got for y'all today. I don't know if it was short, but it was, you know, what I usually do. Yes, I'm in my pajamas. I didn't address that at first. I am in my pajamas. School was canceled today. Oh, school. I don't know if I have updated y'all, but I got the job. I am a school guardian for an elementary school here in San Antonio. So I am part of my local school district. And Martin Luther King Day, we had off already. Plus the current cold weather is helping make sure that everybody stays indoors. So been stuck in the house all day, so I thought, why not? I'll do this video. You know what? I'm gonna do it in my pajamas because that's what I want to do. But anyways, my friends, if y'all have any questions, if y'all want to know any more details, let me know down in the comments below. Got a subject in mind that you'd like to know a little bit about? Let me know down in the comments. If y'all need to do any shopping, take a look at the link in the description to help you out with some of that, okay? All right, my friends, as always, God bless, stay safe, and keep training.